tonight. Make sure everybody's tuned in, turned on. I already got people saying, are we starting? We're starting. I like to be prompt. It is 7 p.m. Central Time. My name is Don Kaufman. I'm going to be your host today for Unleash the Power of Thinkorswim. No, this is not going to be a slide deck. I just threw that slide up there. We're going to be live on Thinkorswim here momentarily. So, again, we've got a very large group tonight. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I possibly can, but I'm going to give you a few heads up right off the bat over here. First of all, we're not financial advisors or a broker-dealer. The reason I always throw this up here is for those of you that are unaware of this, I spent the previous 15 years working directly for Thinkorswim. So yeah, I know the platform extremely well. There's a lot of features that I'm going to discuss tonight. I'm actually going to give you relevant information of why certain features were built, the intention of it, even a couple of fun little stories about when we were building certain features really, really early on at Thinkorswim. So, I couldn't believe over the last, 2 weeks how many requests I've had to say, hey, I want to go back and I really want to learn to use Thinkorswim. So before I really get off and rolling here this evening, I want you guys to know that when I do this Thinkorswim demonstration, there's a tremendous number of places on the Thinkorswim trading application where you can learn some of the basics of Thinkorswim. So why rehash some of the basics? I'm not saying that I'm going to go purely into the extremes of the trading application. I want to make this relevant to you, okay? You're going to find out as you start to go through Thinkorswim, there might be 2,000 features in the trading application. What's relevant to you might be 10%, maybe 15% of that. I am going to try to make what's relevant, all right, and right for you. Really, that's where we're going to kind of head to. So again, I've had 16 years of Thinkorswim platform experience. I started there 2001, pretty much before the platform was ever launched to the public. I was there throughout all of the going public, the acquisition by TD Ameritrade. Of course, Thinkorswim is now a portion of TD Ameritrade. There's also a version of Thinkorswim that is available up in Canada that is under Toronto Dominion. If you do not have a Thinkorswim account, or a TD Ameritrade account, I should say, by all means, we will provide you a link to that. Why? Well, one of the reasons that we're doing demonstrations here, specifically of Thinkorswim, is we have a relationship, an excellent relationship with TD Ameritrade. I left there on very, very good terms, and we like to keep it that way. We're opening up accounts for TD Ameritrade. Got a number of other brokers we're also working with as well. Tonight, it's all about the Thinkorswim trading application. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Again, this is not going to be every single detail of the trading application. It's what's relevant, what features that I really think that over the years that you need to take full advantage of, and more importantly, okay, how to navigate the trading application most efficiently, how to set up the trading application so that your time used on the trading application is the most efficient. So you're not clicking around like a madman, typing in, different symbols over here. That's what we're going to get into. Now, to begin the demonstration, sure, we're going to be about 90 minutes today. I'm going to try to leave plenty of time for questions as well. The Thinkorswim trading application, I recognize like the very first time you get in here, this thing's got to be, it's been so many years since, the first time I've ever gone to the platform, but I've been with a lot of clientele, a lot of people from the industry, the first time they ever went on a Thinkorswim. And it's like, hopping into the cockpit of an F-18. There's somewhere in this platform, there's probably an ejection handle, but you're not necessarily sure what that is. You're scared to click on anything because you're accidentally going to place a trade, okay? Well, again, we're going to start from the beginning of how to most effectively navigate the trading application, and you're going to learn, okay, that the whole system of tabs and sub-tabs, and again, navigation of the platform is critically important. Then we're going to work our way tab by tab, monitor tab, trade tab, analytics, dun, dun, dun. the Analyze tab, the most feared tab on the thinkorswim trading application. It's my baby. Okay, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I am related to the Analyze tab. I think it's my brother. I worked countless years on some of the features in the Analyze tab, writing up profiling, ultimately requests for what would go in here. The scan tab, I feel really strongly about the scan tab. Of course, market watch, alerts, the charts, tools not so much, and of course the help tab. Now, one of the places I like to start, and I don't mind saying this, there's a learning center built into thinkorswim, and there's brand new videos. Really close friend of mine builds some of the videos in the learning center, and they just added some new ones. But that's going to be, again, more the basics, like you've never really been on the trading application so much before. Now, some of you are that new, and that's okay as well. And if you're questioning this again, of course, everything is going to be recorded tonight. We record everything. In fact, not only will we record it, we'll get this one out to all TheoTrade clientele. We'll put this thing out on YouTube. We'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of this demonstration. So let's get things off and rolling. The first place to really start on the thinkorswim trading application, it's not so much this left side bar. It's right up here in what's called setup. I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with the way your platform looks and feels. Okay, so you go into setup. Under setup, you go into application settings. Now, from application settings, you want to go directly to look and feel. You got to make sure that you can see your trading application. I know that sounds kind of, you laugh about it a little bit, but a lot of people, the first time they log on the platform, like, I can't even see this thing. If you're on a 1080p monitor, 1080p is, higher resolution. There's even higher resolution monitors than that now. Right now, I'm broadcasting to you in what's called 720, a little bit lower resolution. Make it a little easier to see. I use the dark background. I use high contrast. The contrast, okay, entails really the color scheme, and ultimately when things are ticking, you can see where things are ticking, there's more contrast between the numbers and the background. Now, font size, this is set to small. However, play around with it. There's medium, large, larger, and extreme. You could see it from a 747 doing 600 miles an hour. So you got to pick your setup. Then you can do your spacing, okay? That's everything. That's what you really want to worry about in there. And again, I feel pretty strongly about the dark background. Some people like the light background. Listen, I'm not going to the light background. I grew up on thinkorswim. It's the black background. You can't switch once you've done it. And I use normal spacing. You can space things out a little bit more, but let's not get totally crazy. So that's a great place, though, to start when you're getting on the trading application. You just want the look, the feel. You want it to feel right, okay? I'm going to close that up. Now, there's another area that people often do not know exist, okay? And they need to. And that's what? Okay, and this is going to take me a minute to pull up. But if you take a look at your account login, there's a little sprocket down below. Now I'm getting into some hardcore stuff early on. There's a sprocket down below. Click on it. Your memory usage. Now, I don't know your memory usage. Okay, I don't know what kind of computer you have, but I can tell you right now that I use the 64-bit version of TOS. If you've downloaded TOS in the last 2 years, you probably downloaded the 64-bit version of this. All right? Now, my memory usage, 512 minimum, and I just go for the max. I'm going all out. What's the max? All right? Like ridiculous. I could even go higher than that. But I'm also on a ridiculous trading computer. Like literally a ridiculous, I'm not on a laptop over here. I'm on the most high-end computer you can possibly get. And it is, by the way, people ask me all the time, it is a Falcon computer. We can put the link in there for them too. They built us here at TheoTrade a number of systems. In fact, I am currently running 2 Falcon systems, one to broadcast on GoTo, one to broadcast in our room over here. But you can adjust your memory, like if you know what your memory settings are. And again, this is a little bit more complicated. Like I can't give you too many details in here, not because I don't want to, it's because I don't know the memory settings. But I can tell you, the more memory, the faster, the smoother things are going to run. Now, let's start getting into functionality, usability. All right, the left side bar over here. This is what it's called. It's the left side bar. Account info. If you see my account info, I only have option buying power and net lick trades. Go in here, customize gadget, get rid of all, there's so much garbage on there, like day trades left. If you need day trades left, sure, what the hell, throw it in there. But I get rid of all that garbage. Why do I get rid of all that garbage? Okay, because there's like 6 or 7 things. It eats up your screen. Like some people have this account info and it's eating up like half the screen over here. You want to have maximum, okay, use for pulling up symbols, right? Next thing, I'll close that up over there. That's how easy it is. Just go to these little menus. By the way, this is what we term a show actions menu. See? Show actions menu. You can detach gadgets. You can customize gadgets. It's all right there. I'm going to close that up. Next thing, you'll see it's called Trade Flash. Well, before I go into specifically Trade Flash, the entire left side bar, and that's again what it's called, the left side bar, before I get into watch list, this is all customizable, right? You can add all kinds of gadgets. To check out the gadgets, right, you can come down below, all the way on the bottom of the screen. And again, I'm going to kind of mouse over it for a second on the little plus sign down below, right? And you can select a gadget. There's account info. There's a calculator. Oh, that's exciting. It's a calculator. Dashboard. Play around with some of these. Again, I don't want to waste time on live audio, live news, Trader TV. Do I really need to see CNBC in my trading application? No. Okay. I have a promise. I have not watched CNBC now in I don't even know how long. Maybe incidentally walking through the gym. One of the gadgets I like Trade Flash. Okay. But you start to get familiar with some of these, like a scratch pad. You can leave yourself notes in here. You know, use the news. It's news. Live news. It's more news. Okay. Lines is a game. Minesweeper. Oh, it's a must-have. Look at this. I can play Minesweeper on. Oh, I was killing it. I was killing it. Okay. And here's a fun story. Minesweeper, Tetris. Now, people look at these sometimes, and when you click on this little show actions menu, they look at these sometimes and they kind of laugh. Why would a trading application ever have games like Tetris, like lines? Okay. Here's a story nobody really knows. When thinkorswim was first being built, they needed a test for software developers. All right. So when they had this test for software developers, what they would do is the entire program is actually scripted all in Java. All of thinkorswim front to back is in Java. And they would sit these developers down and they say, Madame or Sir, you have, okay, 90 minutes. Build Tetris and walk out of the room. And they just throw a laptop in front of them. Well, you know how many people passed that test? Handfuls. But that's where they built Tetris and they built Minesweeper. And it was such an important, test. It was kind of off the cuff that it became kind of legendary at the firm there, and they left them on the trading application because Java, it's no joke to be able to program in if you guys know Java. So anyway, yes, you can play Minesweeper in here. And hey, listen, I know that there's over 1,000 people on right now, but when else do I get to play Minesweeper in front of 1,000 people? So all you have to do is once you've added gadgets is you kind of click these up and down arrows at the bottom. So you add gadgets, okay, and you just kind of click on them because the gadgets can kind of be controlled one by one. So it's meant to feel like this scroll. You're like, I need more gadgets. Well, take a look. This is my watch list. Now I can scroll up and it can scroll down to my watch list. But I can also click this down arrow, pulls up my calculator. Click it again, pulls up my live news. Click it again, pulls up what? Tetris. Delete a gadget out anytime you want. Now, if you don't like your gadgets set up, there's a sprocket down below. That's the Customize Gadgets button. What you can do is you can actually move your gadgets around. Kind of cool, huh? You can just drag this live news above the calculator. Dun, da, da, da. See, live news now is above the calculator. I can't do that. I have to have my platform set up perfectly every single day. That's it. That's what it's designed for. And then you can kind of space these things out a little bit differently. All right, you can drag them, space them out, have a ball with it. That's how you actually set it up. Now, let's get into something more appropriate. Features like Trade Flash, phenomenal. All it's doing is telling you what traders are doing, okay, kind of in the moment. Hey, CRM down 6% after, billings traders say, again, VIX closed 4% off the highs. Yes, it's just relevant information. I look at this stuff. I know the individuals extremely well. I helped put together Trade Flash. So not only do I know the individuals that put this thing together, but we also built, okay, and this is back when I was still there, these are actually scanned trades. It just tells you heavy trades that were done. Somebody bought 4,000 EEM, okay? Somebody sold 500,000 EWJ. It just tells you large trades going through, kind of a slick feature. One thing I want to mention is there are services out there that charge 2 arms and 2 legs for information like this. Ridiculous. That's not something you should pay for. Nobody has, and I want to make this abundantly clear, nobody has some secret sauce server that can see something that this trading application can't. I'm trying to save your money for trading. I know everybody wants like some secret sauce. Like last night I gave away, I think a pretty solid indicator because I want people to save their money for trading. Tonight I'm doing a thinkorswim demo and trying to make it more effective on the platform because, again, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. I must have a Bloomberg machine at $3,000. Let me tell you something. I've been trading for 18 years. We never even had a Bloomberg machine, okay? We never had a Bloomberg machine in the Chicago thinkorswim office. Never had a Bloomberg machine before. I don't need it. You just buy more data, and they gave it to you. Now, this is important. Watch lists. If you like the watch list that I have set up, take it. It's yours, okay? But here's my watch list. And again, I'm just clicking on it, opening and closing it like a wild man, right? Here's my watch list. First of all, there are public lists, right? Public lists, what are they? All kinds of cool stuff like, I don't know, I want to see what the NASDAQ 100 is. Dun, da, da, da. Here's the NASDAQ 100. You can come up here where it says symbol. You can click on it. It alphabetizes it. You can come over here to last. It'll actually go, okay, ascending or descending. You can actually sort, okay, net change. You can sort by any column you want. Now watch. I'm going to right click and go no sorting. That's the first time I've mentioned that. Right clicking. Okay, so I right click. Now, I don't want the NASDAQ 100, but I want you to get familiar with some of these prefabricated watch lists. My watch lists are under my personal lists, and I got a lot of them, right? I mean, I got all kinds of personal lists in here, so if you go through here, I'm the Don Kaufman list. It brings back up my list. I said, if you want it, you got it. I'll just come down here to share the Don Kaufman list, create a link for sharing, copy the link, close it. I think I can put that right down into chat. Here it is, paste, send, you got it. I didn't even label it, but that's the list. Again, I will share anything, show anything, I'm all for it. Now, what I want to make you more comfortable with is navigation of the trading application. This says symbol, last, net change, high, low, okay, percent change. Percent change in this column, critical, critical, critical. It'll make it better trader. Look at percentage trade because it actually makes everything statistically significant, meaning you can look at the NASDAQ versus the VIX versus, Apple instantaneously. You get a feel Microsoft is down, what, 0.7% tonight. Well, Google was only down, what, 0.26. So Microsoft is weak versus the rest of the marketplace and so forth. And you can see the XLE really weak. Oil was getting crushed earlier today. On a percentage basis, you can see everything so cleanly. Now, when you do that, how do you put in different columns? You just click on this little sprocket right up here, or you right-click on these column headers. Click on the sprocket, go to Customize, or right-click and go to Customize. You can customize. This is called percentage change. All right, how do you find that? Now, percent change, this is my subset, but you come in here, right, it's under what? Basic price and quote. And you'll see percentage change and just drag it over there. Hit OK, you're ready to roll. Now, on top of that, when it comes to the left side bar, All right, this is how you navigate the trading application. Bear with me for a second. I go to charts. What do I want to see in charts? I want to see Apple. Good. See Apple down below here? My mouse is on it. Click on it. Okay. Apple will then populate in my charts. Should populate in my charts. Oh, the suspense is killing me right now. So I think I'm pulling a lot of bandwidth right now. So Apple shall populate in the charts when I click on Apple. But it'll also populate in the Trade tab. It'll also populate in the Analyze tab, the Risk Profile, everything. It's very important that you guys know how to do this. If you are going into your platform, any tab, and you're going backspace, 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 A, P, L, enter, you're wasting your time. What you want to do is you want to use, okay, the what? The links. Link to red. All right, yours is probably unlinked right now. Go link to red. Come over here, link it to red. Go to the Trade tab, link it to red. Go to the Analyze tab, link it to red. Link everything to red. Why? Because then when you click on anything, here's the XLF. Boom, there's my XLF position. How's that working for me? Not too well. So there's the XLF position, the XLL options, XLF options, the charts, everything. So again, everything's about speed. Everything's about functionality. We okay so far? Again, the left sidebar, it's not that daunting of a task once you know how to navigate things. That's why, you can keep your left sidebar open, okay? Or you can take your left sidebar and you have this little tiny arrow over here. You can close it up. Now you don't even have to see your left sidebar. Now, why would you want to do that? Why would you want no left sidebar? I would say if you had the left sidebar closed, it's because you have a separate monitor and you can take this, you can detach the gadget and drag it to a separate monitor. And once you've detached it and dragged it to a separate monitor, it still will link everything. Look, even if I had this on a different monitor, watch, I'm going to click the VIX, all right? Oh, no, let's do the SPX. Oh, see, it's still linked to the SPX, and it pulled the SPX chain. Great. So with that, we're going to kind of continue on. Now, this is going to be kind of fun. Before I go any further, the left sidebar also has a very unique feature that very few people are aware of, okay? And what is it? By the way, yeah, I said separate monitor, right? Monitor. Yeah, separate monitor, separate screen, whatever does it for you. People always ask me how many monitors I have. So I used to only trade off of 2 monitors. But now I do, presentations like this from time to time. So I have 6. I have 6 monitors. I only use I use 3 for thinkorswim. I use 3 for, when I'm actually broadcasting out to you guys. But you can detach, drag to a separate monitor, good to go. You don't have to have, all right? How big is my monitor? Excuse me, sir, that is a very personal question. I have 6 24-inch monitors. By the way, I'll tell you all the equipment I use. So the computer's a Falcon, which I have to tell you, they tweaked this thing perfectly. It's so fine-tuned right now. It took me a while to get it all set up the way I wanted to, but I'm in, it's tweaked, I like it. So here's a feature that I like to mention that a lot of people don't know about, and that's this. As you go through all these different watch lists, do you see some of my personal lists have these little radar swirls on them? What are those? Those are scans, okay? So when you go to the scanner, which we're going to cover later, you go to the scanner, there's the scan that I built called TheoTrade Contrarian Scan, and I hit it, right? What came up? Applied Materials, Momo, okay, Symantec, yada, yada, Yelp. There's a stock I'd like to short. Anyway, once I've done that, once you've built a scan, you never have to go back to the scanner, right? What you can do is you can come down here and you can say, well, where is that? There's a TheoTrade Contrarian Scan. I'm going to click on it. And what it's going to do is it tells the watch list, don't be a watch list, be a scanner. It just goes and tags the scan servers. Now, why do I mention that right now? Like, we haven't even built any scans. I'm going to tell you why. So few people know about this. You never have to go back to the scanner. And you can run a bunch of different scans simultaneously by just doing what? Adding more watch lists. How do you add more watch lists? Look, here's Trade Flash. Guess what? Switch it to gadget. Switch to gadget. Make it a watch list. How do you do that? So click make and watch list. Now I can make this a Don list. I don't have to make it a Don list. I can make it my gamma scan. Gamma, gamma, gamma. Look, nothing came up. How wonderful. I can pull up multiple lists. I just pulled up the S&P 100. Okay. So I wanted you to see that. You can pull up, again, multiple lists in here. Now, switch back the gadget. Let's go back to Trade Flash, right? In a flash, he goes back to Trade Flash. And then maybe I don't want this TheoTrade contrarian over here. What do I want? I want my personal list. I want my personal list back. Great. Now, what else can you do that? If you're on a mobile application, thinkorswim's got all kinds of mobile applications. When you're on your mobile application, did you know that you can see your scans? These scans are fully functional even on the mobile application. But what you can't do on the mobile application, well, you can't build the scan on the mobile application, but you can use the scan on the mobile application. Cool, right? And very few people know about that. By the way, I'm going to tell you something. Here's what nobody knows. Let's not get this too excited, but I know a feature that's coming out. There's going to be alerts on scans. What that basically means is when a piece of criteria is hit, when it's scanning in the background, it'll be able to alert you. How do I know about it? I can't tell. I might have been walking around their office a couple of weeks ago, perusing, okay, checking out. Now, it's something that we wrote up probably like 2 years ago. It was like in the to-do list. It just got pushed up in the to-do list, but there'll be alerts on scans coming out. I think it could be as early as like October, November timeframe. So you didn't hear it from me, though. I'm going to close up the left sidebar. Let's roll. Let's go right into the monitor tab. So again, all I did, close up the left sidebar. Party's over on the left sidebar. We got our left sidebar. Let's get to the monitor tab. What's important on the monitor tab? The single most important things on, okay? Anyway, by the way, somebody wants the TheoTrade contrarian scan. Yeah, we could throw that in there. No problem. When we get to scan, we'll throw it in there. By the way, somebody said, you're looking quite bearish. Really, I had no idea. I'm short total in all the accounts, about 12,000 spider deltas right now. Oh my! So yeah, I'm a little short. Spider beta weighted, I'm short about 6,000 deltas, but don't you worry, there's a multitude of accounts in here. So in the monitor tab, what matters? You know, listen, this is where we get to submenus. Submenus, activity and positions, account statement, FX statements, strategy roller, yuck. We don't need to cover time on this. Like the account statement. You want to see everything I've done 30 days back? Oh, great, you can do it. Woohoo! There's 30 days, but I'm not that into the account statement. What's kind of cool about the account statement, though, it remembers everything that you've ever done as long as you've been a client there. I want to cover activity and positions. This is what's going to make a difference. All right, the way you set up activity and positions, I believe, is critically important. So one thing I like to set up with delta, gamma, theta, vega. I'm an options geek. I like days, I like quantity, I like mark. All right, so how do you do that? There's a sprocket right here. This is very important. Customize the columns. Now, mark, quantity, days, delta, gamma, theta, vega. Period. Just drag them over there. If you didn't catch it, don't worry. It's all recorded. You can go right back into this. The next thing, and people always ask me this, they go, how do you get profit and loss percent on there? How do I get the profit and loss percent on there? All right, and profit and loss today. These are not available items in this list. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go back up to your setup, go to application settings. All right, where is it? Under positions. Under positions, position, profit and loss layout. It's percent day. Got it? It's under application settings, positions, percent day. Hit apply and you're ready to roll. Now, the next thing that I believe is critically important for your understanding, okay, there is a lot of cool stuff you can do in the monitor tab, but one of the coolest things that you can do is build sub-accounts. Subbing is huge. What sub-accounts basically mean, see this eBay position? I'm losing money on it, right? You see it? Right-click on it. Right-click on it and go move to group. Now I have an unallocated group where I can add a group. When I add a group, I can click it and I can actually call it the eBay group. Hit OK. There'll actually be an eBay group. I just ripped eBay, ripped it away from everything, and then I can customize its columns uniquely from other columns, right? Go back over here to the TheoTrade group, fantastic, or I could just delete the eBay group. Look, delete the group. Goodbye. All right, the subgroup eBay is gone forever. Now, you sure you want to do this? Yes. So it's gone forever. Now, I go back in and I can, again, how do I do that? You just right click on positions. Like if you trade a lot of futures and you want to sub those out, just go move to group and add a new group. Again, right click on Bank of America, move to group, add a new group. Next thing you want to learn to do on the monitor tab. There's the show actions menu, and I know this is incredibly confusing, but there's a show actions menu on top and there's a show actions menu right below it. Okay, the one on top is the one you want. Use the new layout. You can group symbols. Now, this is important. You can arrange positions by like trade time and order type. If you do that by like order, okay, that means if you place an iron condor, it's going to lock it in as an iron condor. It's kind of confusing because I want you to look at a trade. So I've got a trade on Bank of America here. Look, it's a 4 lot. Now you don't know what this trade is. I bought one of these, I sold one of these. It's a vertical spread. But if you go in here and you group like the symbols or arrange positions by order, it'll actually know that this was 4 separate 1 lot trades. It literally broke down to the order type, right? Do it again, arrange positions by trade time. It'll actually what time it traded. You can come in here and arrange positions by instrument. That's typically what I use. You can go in here and group symbols by spread type. Dun, dun, dun. I can actually group vertical spreads together. So it'll know that Bank of America has vertical spreads in it, right? So it'll actually group things out very, very uniquely in here. I can't stand that stuff. I mean, listen, I've been on the platform for a long, long time. I like to arrange positions, okay, group symbols by spreads. No, no, no. Don does not like that, okay? So those are some features I think that are pretty critically important. The next thing you guys got to know, when you're opening and closing positions, you can highlight individual legs, right? So you could just go to a leg, highlight it, right-click, go create closing order, create rolling order. If you're trading futures contracts, you come right into your futures contract here, right? You can right-click on it and you can roll the futures contract directly, okay, from here. So you don't have to wait. You can roll futures contracts, right, directly from the monitor tab. You can close positions from the monitor tab. You know, if I've got a stock position like here, I'm short 300 shares of Walmart. If I want to close that, I right-click, come over here to create closing order. I can say, well, I could buy back my Walmart shares, or I could do a stop order or bracket it. I could bracket the existing shares. If I click on that, it'll actually load the bracket. I'm now in the trade tab. Great. Those are, without a doubt, some of the key features that you want to learn. Now, last but definitely not least, click on stuff in the monitor tab. When I say click on stuff, see where it says like P&L? On P&L, come in there and literally click on it. When you go to P&L, it'll actually open up this box called View Trades. It'll show you the exact second that you placed the trade, how many contracts you did, the average price you bought or sold it for, and then the current mark. The mark is the current mid price. Mark and mid price are synonymous, right? Then you come over here to margin. You want to see what my margin requirement is on FedEx? I don't even know why I have a position on FedEx. Click on it. I have portfolio margin. I'm sorry, I can carry really big positions, but I got portfolio margin, and it explains my entire margin. So again, click on the P&L percent, the exact second time I place the trade, everything is in there. Ooh, am I getting hammered on that NASDAQ future, huh? Down 7% in a future. Ooh, but still my heart. It's 19 grand. Hey, it's all relative, okay? I know I have no problem ever showing profit, loss in here, because real traders have profit and real traders have loss. And you got to be willing to show both of them. Now, somebody was saying, can we prevent the split positions? I'd have to take a look at that on your account, but I don't like to split things up. Again, you can probably sub them together. Now, I'm going to move right on because the monitor tab, it's cool, but it isn't that cool, right? You really want to learn trade tab. So now let's go into the trade tab. Now there's two major areas I'm going to cover in the trade tab. I'm going to look under all products and I'm going to look under active trader, right? All products, active trader. Now, time out for a second. We're 30 minutes into this. Is everybody all right? Breathe deeply right now because you haven't seen anything yet. We're just getting warmed up. I mean, come on. I got to leave a lot for the finale. So, all right, cool. Only like 3 or 4 people are answering me. There's like 1,000 people in the room. I got like, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, the margin requirement. By the way, somebody said the margin requirement. Now, not every single person may have that. It's a possibility depending upon what type of account you may have over there. But if you look under positions, you look under, I'll show you exactly where it is. You go to Setup, Application Settings, and go to Positions. Okay, and then with all seriousness, I have literally been on the platform for 16 years, so I apologize if I quickly click quickly. Right here, you either have buying power effect or margin requirement. Frankly, if you're in a Regulation T account, most of you are in a Regulation T account, I actually suggest the buying power effect because that kind of matters. If you're in a portfolio margin, which is less than 1%, less 1% of accounts are portfolio margin accounts, at least that's a statistic from, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, you would use the margin requirement, right? So you could use buying power effect, hit apply, and you see the BP. Holy BP, look at my Costco position. Eating up $186,000. That's awesome. I'll go back to setups, application settings, positions, margin requirement, hit apply, done. That's where it is. Got it. Okay. The trade tab. Dun, dun, dun. So when you're navigating through the application, just like I'm doing right now, I see where it says monitor tab and then these sub tabs open down below. So you never have to go monitor tab and then account statement because that's 2 clicks, right? So when you're on the monitor tab and you want to go to the trade tab, you could just click right on trade tab. But if you wanted to go to the active trader, you would go to the sub menu. See that? Okay, then I want to go back to all products, click on all products. So there's 2 major areas we're going to cover in the trade tab. We're going to cover all products, and we're going to cover just a little bit about active trader. Really, I could probably spend 2 hours just in active trader. And a lot of features in there, a lot of features. So let's cover a little bit about all products, okay? Is Walmart okay? Can we use Walmart? Forget the option chain. I just closed it up. There is no option chain. First of all, let's talk about stock, okay? What stock do we want to bring up in here? I mean, we can look at something like Apple, A-A-P-L, enter. You should never have to type in a symbol. Close up the whole option chain. Again, worrying about stock right now. So a few things you may see on your application. It says ETB, easy to borrow. If it says NTB, it means none to borrow. If it says what? HTB, it means hard to borrow. Don't try to short when they're HTB or NTB because it's going to reject you. And there's nothing worse than when you click on the platform and it's like, bing, bing. It's really loud and obnoxious sound. I can't really do the sound, but it's ugly. And it basically says you got rejected. I've been rejected more than once. I can take the rejection. Can you hear it in my voice? Anyway, you want to basically look at a few features in here. A couple of features that you want to know. Obviously, the last price, the net change, the bid, the ask, the size, the volume. This stuff doesn't matter so much. The size, really? Who cares? And if you're going to ask me about level 2 hasn't been relevant or cool since 2003. If anybody ever talks to you about level 2, just hang up right there. Just seriously, just hang up. Okay, I don't even know if you're on the phone, but you should hang up. Level 2, okay, I'm just going to give you the whole lowdown. You can click on these little letters after the bid or offer. The P, the I, the C, the N, the A. What do they stand for? Exchange designation. What does it mean? Not a thing. There's NASDAQ full book. There's the BATS Edge full book. Do you know why they put these in here? Because clients requested them. Okay? Does it really matter? Absolutely not. And I'll give you a piece of information. Very few people know this. In 2012, the NASDAQ, which actually records most of the data for the exchanges, The NASDAQ started recording data in nanoseconds. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that means 1 billionth of a second, which basically means that the size that's being traded could technically be moving in billionths of a second. Do you really think that you can see the size? That's why level 2 doesn't mean anything. You're like, but there was 50,000 shares for sale. So what? 50,000 shares for sale. Anybody does anything, you're never going to see them coming. Okay, you got to realize you're like the smallest fish in a really big pool. So the whole NASDAQ level 2 thing has become, shall I say, not even ineffective, it's obsolete. They actually thought about removing this from the trading application, but I figured I'd mention it. There's yield, there's PE ratios, earnings per share. There's a little arrow right here, but there's a feature on this trade tab that so few people know, and I got to bring it up right now, but you click this symbol table, it's this down arrow next to Apple. I love this feature. It's always been on the trading application since day one. You click this down arrow, all your positions, you got them. All your futures. This is so cool because if you ever wanted to trade like a gold future, it tells you the tick size, the margin requirement, everything. You want to look something up, right? Oh, look, Apple. How surprising. I want to look up another company. General Motors, GE, it knows. Just type in like a company. It's kind of cool in there. And then, you put personal watch lists, right? So I love the features in that drop down. Now let's start talking a little bit about trading, okay? I know people will probably ask me about company profile over here, but whatever, it's a feature. It's cool. It's fun to play with. Nobody even knows it's there. You just click on it. It's actually a feature that JJ Kinahan worked on. I'm not picking on JJ's feature. I actually love it. But for me, I'm a little bit more of a trader. I like to look at this and go, yeah, that iPhone's 52% of their business, and it's not that cool anymore. My iPhone 2 was very cool. My iPhone 6S is becoming less cool, and therefore you're 52%. Watch what happens. You can take this and click on it and go, so the iPhone pricing, global phone sold. Oh, yeah, let's put the global phone sold down. And then the stock would be what? Would be $103, which is, it's pretty much trading there anyway. So let's pull it even lower. Oh, yes, let's crush Apple to 10%, and the stock dives. You got to love that. So are you sure you want to clear this forecast? Yes. Okay. You can actually be like your own analyst. By the way, here at TheoTrade, we don't call them analysts, we call them analysts because they don't know what they're doing anymore. All right. Since when does analyzing stock work? When, think about this, the ECB, which is the European Central Bank, is buying corporate bonds. Japan is actually buying ETFs in their market. Valuation is no more. There's no more price discovery. Apple, okay, has corporate bonds. They haven't been purchased yet. But again, somebody said, what a mess. I could not agree more. You think about that. It's pretty hard to price a company when Federal Reserve, or a version of it, the central bankers are now buying their corporate bonds. Let's talk about trading. You want to buy something, left click on the ask. You want to sell something, left click on the bid. Now, left click, that's your normal click, right? Left click on the bid, you sell 100 shares. Now, it doesn't say sell stock short. If you want to short 100 shares on thinkorswim, okay, you click on the bid and it sells 100. You're like, but I didn't even own it. Doesn't, load up like I know a lot of trading applications. I would like to sell short this, okay? It ain't made like that. This is how it's done, if you sell 100 shares that you do not own, guess what? You're short. Welcome to the party. Delete the order out. Now, buy stuff, pretty easy. In the order entry, you could buy 100 shares. You can change right here. Now, you can move the increments, but just know that you can type in here and go, I just want to do 106 shares. Type in 106. Put in the price, any price you want. There's limit orders and market on close and all kinds of crazy stuff. But let me show you the easiest way to do complex order types. All right. So, sorry, I'm reading some of the chat room over here. People are getting a little frisky at this time of night. It's good. It's good stuff. Let me go ahead and right click. Now, Very few people know that these drop-down menus are here. When you right-click, this is how you do complex order types, like buy with a stop. Ready? Click on it. I'm going to buy 100 shares of Apple at 106.05 cents, and I'm going to set a stop at 105.05 cents. Now, you don't have to use a regular stop. You could switch this to a stop limit. All right? You could switch it to a regular stop or stop limit. What's the difference? The stop, when it hits 105.05 cents, becomes a market order. The stop limit is going to put in two different prices. Okay? What that basically means, there's a trigger price and the actual limit to close. If you do this crap right, the stop is the trigger price. Trigger means it's actually going to trigger the trade. Okay? And the stop limit is the actual limit order. So you would want to trigger 5 to 10 cents above where you actually put the stop limit. Why? Because there's a possibility if you set the stop limit and the stop at the same price, you could be in a fast market and it'll cruise right through you. Right? So make sure everybody's okay right now. Somebody's asking for a washroom break. You're going to have to run out and run back. Maybe we'll take a 3-minute break, but I don't think so. Not yet. We're like the best part, man. I can't stop now. So you want to have a little differentiation from the stop limit, okay? And I just like to throw that in there. I don't use a lot of these order types in here, but that's how you can do it. Now, you can also create all kinds of crazy custom order types. Now, let me delete this out. Once again, right-click, go to Buy Custom. I'm going to buy it with a stop. Now, maybe I don't want a regular stop. You're like, well, what do you want to do? I want to put a trail stop, okay? And I don't want that, so I just flicked it right over to trail stop, right? So there's trail stop. And I don't want a trail stop 10 cents. I want a percentage trail stop. See that little guy right there? It says plus or minus. My mouse is on it. Click it. It'll actually change it to either ticks or percentage. That does percentage trail stops. Pretty cool. But wait, there's more. Exactly. So you could do a 3% trail stop based on a mark. Mark is mid-price. Now, you guys want to see some other cool stuff? Great. Once you've set up a complex order, because I'm going to guarantee you're going to go back and you're going to watch that video like 3 times. You're going to be like, how the hell did he click on that? Once you figure it out, be careful. You got day orders, you got GTC. GTC is good till canceled. Extended orders, yucky, yucky. I don't really like trading the extended hours. GTC, though, is good till canceled. All right. Once you set up your favorite order type, you go right over here to Save Custom Order. Like this, it looks like a little old 3.5 floppy. 3 1/4 floppy? Was that 3 1/4 or 3.5? Oh, it's so sad. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's a 3 1/4. I'm going for 3 1/4 floppy, but that's what that was supposed to be. Anyway, you click on it and Save Custom Order, and you can save it. And what can you call this? I don't know. You can call it like Don's Cool Trade, and hit Save. It's done. I saved it. Now, how do you access it? Right-click. Come over here to Buy Custom, Don's Cool Trade, Don's favorite trade. Don's Cool Trade would be a 3% trail stop. Click on it. There's a 3% trail stop. That won't just be used on Apple. If I pulled up the Facebook, it would actually be relevant inside of Facebook as well. Right-click, Don's Cool Trade, 3% trail stop. It would be relevant in futures contracts, stocks, options, futures, currencies. Everything trades seamlessly, the same technology. Now, okay. It was 3.5. Okay. There's, by the way, going on in the chat room right now, there's an entire market for a 3.5. All right. Somebody's like, 5.25. There's a 5 1/4. Wow. Some of you guys have like those old punch cards, right? And used to work at IBM. Guarantee there's a couple of engineers in here. Come on, admitting it is the first step tonight. Engineers and trading, it's like a duck in water. Except the duck is kind of distorted because that's how they became an engineer in the first place. Anyway, again, admitting it is is the first step out there. Sorry, I'm getting everybody riled up. Bring back the 8-tracks. Oh yeah, I do actually remember those. So I was a bicentennial baby. I hit 40 this year. It's all over. As I said, I think last night, my warranty is up. So now let's get into some really wild order types. You know, people want to do some really wild stuff, right? So let me show you where the wild stuff is in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to left click on Facebook. I'm just going to drop a buy order. There's like a little hidden menu on the far right-hand side of thinkorswim. You know why it's hidden? Because once you actually learn about it, this is opening up Pandora's box. So I click on it. What that'll actually bring up is order rules. What order rules does, well, it's your worst nightmare. Order rules can submit orders based on any trigger methodology that you can pretty much dream of. So this is like one of those features that you build because people ask for it, not because you wanted to do it, because you wanted to see if you could do it. And that was the reality of this. So I want to buy 100 shares. I can submit the order at a specified date and time. I can go in here and do all kinds of stuff, but see where I'm trying to buy 100 shares of Facebook. Now I can put Facebook method. I can start triggering orders off of volatility. I can even trigger orders off studies. Do you know you can actually trigger an order off of like a study? It'll actually fire a live order, okay, at or above, put thresholds in here. So again, your studies can be right in there, simple moving average. In fact, you can even tweak the simple moving average. Now, there's a little bit of code in here. Not a big deal, but you may have to be able to code. Again, you could submit order at specified dates and times. Just check it on, check it off, okay? Day in force, manual, last. I mean, every variable you could ever dream of. The ask over the bid percent. Why would they even do that? I have no clue. Actually, I do know. So if you have a wide bid offer spread, you may actually want to give a percent of the bid offer. It's kind of a cool idea. Personally, I like the idea. Nevertheless, you can cancel orders specified times. You can even basically route a Facebook trade based on something that Apple's doing. You can route a Facebook trade based on an Apple study. And if you're totally confused, they actually built a language to be able to describe this to you. Submit the following order. Buy 100 shares of Facebook. Submit on 8/31 at 17:50. Cancel at 8/31, okay, or better. Note the order is unlocked mode. Have fun with that. Okay, can you do this with options? Hell yeah, you can do it with options. Now, it's much more than just triggering orders. That is hardcore stuff. Let's move on to options. Let's get into it. I'm going to open up the option chain now. So as I go into the option chain, and again, almost an hour in here, we're only on the trade tab, so should I pick up the pace a little bit? Are we fast enough? We got to spend a lot of time in analyze tab charts. Okay, let's actually open up an option chain. So open up an option chain. In the option chains themselves, everything on the left side of the screen is calls. Everything on the right side of the screen is your puts. Your strike prices are listed down the middle along with expiration. This is also the contract multiplier. On the far right-hand side of the screen, implied volatility, okay, and expected move. I've done tons of free videos on the TheoTrade side about those. Okay, if you want to buy an option, left-click on the ask. If you want to sell an option, left-click on the bid, right? If you click on the little letter, that's exchange designation. That's which exchange has the best bid or best offer at any given point in time. Not critically important. Now, if you want to do complex order types, right-click. This is where you go like, vertical rolls and butterflies. You want to buy a butterfly, boom, done. You right-click, go to any strategy you want. But you could also set up stops and stop limits and all kinds of trail stops here, okay, right on an option. So I just want everybody to know it. And, all right, if you want to go buy an option and use all those crazy order types I just talked about, you can. It's all in there. Okay, so buying and selling options is pretty straightforward. Here's a feature that I use all the time. When I build a spread, I don't right-click and go sell, okay, and bring up like a strangle. I don't right-click and go sell. I can't stand these drop-down menus. I can't stand them. Can't stand you. So what I do is I actually hit Control, okay, Control, left-click on the bid to sell, Control, left-click on the ask to buy, and I can create four-legged beasts. It's a pterodactyl spread. No, it's an iron condor. So again, what you're doing is hitting Control left click, okay? And you can actually build a complex spread that way. Woohoo! There it is. Delete it out of there. All right? Easy enough. The other critically important thing I believe here in the Trade tab happens to be none other than these information layouts. Now, there's a drop down over here. You can go over like volume and open interest. You just want to see volume and open interest. There it is. Okay, these are prefabricated. You want to see delta, gamma, theta, vega. That's just a lot to look at. I'll go back over to volume and open interest. You can also click right here on this kind of drop down, go to like options, theoreticals, and Greeks. This is where you find, this is the good stuff, right? Go to the theoretical pricing calculator. The theoretical pricing calculator should always be the mid price between bid and offer. If it's not, go down here and hit reset. Theoretical pricing calculator, possibly one of the most important tools in the entire trading application. I've done a lot of videos on the theoretical pricing calculator over the years. On the TheoTrade site, there's tons of stuff done about the theoretical pricing calculator because it's not about being overpriced or underpriced. It's about a glimpse into the future of pricing. It lets you know what your option is going to be worth 3 days from now if the stock goes up, down, left, right, volatility adjustment. It's one of the slickest features in the platform. But you can set up this layout, you can customize these things, and then just save the custom columns. That's it. Now, options, again, they're pretty straightforward, right? Option statistics. This is cool stuff. 52-week high implied volatility, 52-week low implied volatility, the IV percentile. What that ranking says of 6%, it means, okay, it's in its lowest, okay, form of volatility in the last 52 weeks. The IV percentile, okay, equates to the last 52 weeks. So if it says a ranking of 6, it's in one of the lowest, okay, portions, obviously, of its volatility anytime in the last 52 weeks. And again, this is HV, which is historical volatility. Then we get to what's called an HV percentile. What that means is this stock has not moved less than, okay, less than actual price movement at any other time in the last 52 weeks. It's the 0 percentile today. It basically says Facebook is completely and totally stuck in the mud. It can't even get out of its own way. Not even Zuckerberg himself can get this stock to move. Then it gives you the implied volatility and a VWAP. It's volume weighted average price. Total number of option contracts traded. Sizzle index. What the Sizzle index is, it looks at the last 5 days of option volume. This is actually a tool I helped build. Most of the option statistics came out of a guy by the name of Chesley Spencer, but the Sizzle index has been on here a long time. It looks at the last 5 days of option volume, and right now it says basically 0.5. What that means is it's trading about 50% of its average volume versus the previous 5 days. If you look at the XLF tonight, the XLF is pretty cool. Check this out. All right, the XLF traded, that's right, 309,000 puts, 7 times the norm versus the last 5 days. Something is up in the XLF. Okay, what's up? Somebody went out there and bought a huge put spread, 130,000 contract put spread. Pretty cool, right? So that's option statistics, time and sales. This is just every single trade that was done. By the way, it's every single exchange, every single trade that was done. You want to see time and sales? Go for it. You can even filter, you know, for different trades in there. Last but not least, product depth. This is just looking at implied volatility. This is complete and total geek kind of stuff over there. And your position will also be listed down below. All right, we're going to move on over here. Now, yes, everything is being recorded. Let's go and cruise directly over to Active Trader. The Active Trader, dun, dun, dun. So when you first pull up of Active Trader, just know what it is that you're looking at. It's called a futures ladder. Active Trader is almost exclusively designed for the implication of trading futures contracts. You really wouldn't want to trade stocks or options. I know some people do, but it's not really designed for that. It is a full graphical interface. What that means is when you check off this auto send, it's serious at that point, and you will route trades. If you click on this screen, watch. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a live trade. The market moves down to me, okay? I'm an owner of that. On the flip side, I can actually sell the limit. All right, I could sell one up here, I could buy one down there. You could also create all these different buttons by customizing it. What's different buttons? If I accidentally click right now, buy the market, I will own a futures contract. So I warn you, when you check off auto send over here, When I say it's serious, like if somebody just, a kid walks in there like, hey, Dad, this is the best video game I've ever played. Okay. I have had incidents myself with Active Trader. And my daughter actually bought me a Russell Future. Russell Futures are big. And that's when I was like, oh, poop is hitting the fan. So to this day, the kid walks into the office, is poop hitting the fan? She's like looking at the fan. It's not literal, it's figuratively, you know. We have some incidents that were great, some of the funniest stories ever at thinkorswim in the Chicago office of one individual in particular that accidentally placed trades using the active trader, but he would not admit it that he did it. He blamed it on the cat. It was the cat. But back when this happened, you used to have to hit shift and then click. So we were trying to figure out, like, could a cat actually get on the keyboard and hit shift and then, get the back paw over to the click? If you, it doesn't work very well. You'd have to actually see me doing the cat sprawl for this, but it happened. So we gave him a nickname. It was the blank trader. It had to do with the cat. It was hysterical. It never gets old. I've replayed that call at least 500 times over the years. So it was, by the way, at the end of the call, he admits that he accidentally placed the trade, but he didn't accidentally place it. He just didn't want the trade. And basically we said, we'll give you your money back, but we want to know the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And he goes, I placed the trade. And we go, fine, we'll credit your account back. It was great. So the auto send over there makes it pretty serious. Now you can pull up charts with this. Again, I don't want to spend too much time in the active trader section because I think it's a much more advanced trader. But you can also set up a multitude of bracketing systems in here as well. The brackets, okay, or an OCO, which you're basically doing, as a trigger with a bracket. You can see I'm actually buying the futures contract and setting, all right, I can actually set a limit order above and a stop below, and it can all be done simultaneously with one click. All right, so you can actually trade from the long side or trade from the short side out there. So that's a little bit about active trader. Nothing too slick to really show you in here other than this is a feature. I use it a lot, but I don't really use a lot of stops. I just go in here and I actively trade futures contracts and Dow futures, and I actually been trading bonds a lot lately too. So onward and upward over here, let's get to the Analyze tab, the most feared tab in the thinkorswim platform. So tonight, in the remainder of tonight, we're going to be covering a lot about the Analyze tab, of course. We're going to go to Scam, but we're also going to spend some pretty good time in the charts. Market Watch, easy. Take me 5 minutes. Now, in the Analyze tab, Add Simulated Trades, Risk Profile, Think Back. Those are your 3 primary areas to concern yourself with. They've recently added economic data. What can I tell you about economic data? I would like to know. Okay, I mean, this is economic data in here to your heart's content. It uses FRED, all right? That's the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. So if you're a fan of FRED, here, federal government debt. Oh yeah, what kind of government debt? I mean, I've been playing with this federal government debt. Oh, I'm not going to get into that. There's an election coming up. There's a lot of debt. That's it. I'm out. I'm out of the contest after that. Anyway, I've been playing around with this. It's some pretty cool data. Again, this is just like API data over there. It's crazy though how much data is in here. And we're talking about a Bloomberg machine. What do you think a Bloomberg machine has access to? It's the same stuff. All right. It's just this is doing it now. Exchange rates in here. It's cool. All right. But we're not covering that so much tonight. We want to learn how to use the Analyze tab and this risk profile. If you want to become a master of the risk profile, first of all, go back to the Trade tab. Go in there and type in Apple. Okay? So we're going to go to the Trade tab. We're going to type in Apple. We're going to build a trade. What trade are we going to build? We're going to go out there and we're going to sell a spread. We're going to sell a spread. We're going to sell the 109s. And we're going to buy the 111s. Okay? It's a $2 wide spread for a 53-cent credit. One thing I highly suggest that you do when you are quote-unquote analyzing trades, build your trades in the Trade tab and then dump them to the Analyze tab. How do you do that? I built the trade in the Trade tab. I now right-click. I come over here to Analyze Trade. Again, I build the trade, I right-click anywhere on the trade, right-click, Analyze Trade. It'll actually dump the trade directly into the Analyze tab. So why do I recommend that over using Add Simulated Trades? If you do this in Add Simulated Trades, you could build the same trade. It leaves the price unlocked, and then you physically have to lock the price down. And that's to your detriment. If you forget it, it'll screw up your entire analysis. So remember what I said. Go to the Trade tab, build your trade, right-click, go to Analyze. Now, go to the risk profile. Here's your risk profile, okay? Your Analyze tab should probably look like this, completely and totally reset, okay? As soon as you drop a trade into the Analyze tab, if you currently have a trade in there, you can go from Show All. You can hide positions and hide simulations. That means you can simulate a trade with a trade that you really have on, okay? But most people are more worried about the risk profile. If you ever get caught up looking into risk profiles are kind of like all the same. Who cares? Listen, you are not going to make what it says in this risk profile. This is the kind of stuff that I want to make apparent, transparent, okay, again and again. People live or die by risk graphs. You know what? Forget even this spread. Somebody's going to go over there and they're going to do a butterfly. They'll go buy, they'll go butterfly, analyze the trade. There's a butterfly. You're like, ooh, baby, I can make a lot of money on that. Look at that. You know what the chances of you making the full amount on the butterfly are? Okay. Slim to none doesn't even do it justice. There is no way, okay, on this earth that you're going to make anywhere near that, because this is at expiration. It's at expiration. Forget that. See, there's this little column up here that says expiration. Go to single, okay? There you go, single. That's what your real risk graph looks like. There's single. There's date. There's what they call day stepping. What's day stepping? This shows you how the trade matures through time. This is a very mature trade. Day stepping is looking here at what? September 1st, September 8th, September 15th, September 22nd, September 29th. It's looking 7 days stepped. I can even make the days more shallow or more extreme, right? That's day stepping. I can come in here and do what's called volatility stepping. What's volatility stepping? It shows me what I can make or lose based on different levels of volatility. The Analyze tab is a deep monster, one from which you will never escape. But looking at it in its easiest form is garbage, because nobody ever makes what the risk profile says. Okay? And by the way, if you ever ask me about Vega weighted, yuck. Yes, you can do Vega weighting on here. You just got to get a little bit more, you know, it's Vega. Vega means almost nothing unless you're trading millions and millions of dollars. I've had that question a lot the last couple of days too, and it's quite lame. Anyway, when you are analyzing this risk profile, you can kind of drag it around. You can kind of zoom in over here, but the legend on the lower left-hand corner is important. You can also change the colors of these by clicking directly on here. All right, so if you click on this little legend right there, you know, you can change them to different colors. Look, I want it to be chartreuse. I must have chartreuse. So you go to the color palette. I must have it. I must have it. That's not chartreuse, but it's just hideous. But you guys get the point. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how to, you know, change things up, manipulate the platform, if you will. So that's how you do risk profiling. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But on top of risk profiling, okay, you'd probably want to go in here and use probability. So how do you figure out probability on this trading application? First of all, this is an OC7 trade. Make sure the date right up here reflects the expiration, which is October 7th. The date box up here. Don't take it to October 7th, take it to October 8th, because the actual expiration is the Saturday following the Friday. So take it to October 8th. That's the date that you set in the box. Now, after you've set that, come down here to what's called price slices. Price slices. Click on the Show Actions menu and go Set Slices to break-even point on 10.8. You see, it's smart. It knows it's 10.8. Click on it. It shows that this trade has a 69.77% probability. Period. Done. Easy enough. This is where things are going to get crazy. If you're looking at the Analyze tab, fantastic. It'll give you probabilities, but that's a probability by expiration. Stuff that we can teach is way beyond that. I mean, there's so much cool stuff that you can do in the Analyze tab. The Analyze tab is an entire simulated world. If you go over here to price slices, check this out. You go set slices, $2 and $5. What does that even mean? It tells you what if the market goes up $2, up $5, down $2, down $5, and it gives you exactly what you're going to make or lose. Forget about one contract. Let's do 20 contracts. You're going to know pretty much what you can make or lose. At any point, the stock can move. You can say, well, what if it went up $10? You're like, oh no, I lost $2,000. Yeah, but what happens if it went down $10? Okay, you can set up what's called a risk array. You can say rows of 3%, a 15% move up or a 15% move down. Then you can come over here and you can set the slices to your chart. That is ridiculous. You know why? Because you can take an options trade from the Analyze tab, know that if it goes up 15%, that I'm going to lose $2,700, come over to the chart and know what that's going to look like. You can measure it up with your Fibonacci. All right? So remove all drawings, yes. Great, back to the Analyze tab. Those are some of the key features. Now, take it a step further, because price slicing really freaks everybody out the first time they see that. Again, I got videos, you know, when it comes to like thinkorswim is, you know, like, I'm going to go out and I have to pay for tutorials. This stuff is so deep. We do everything on here. I've been on the platform my whole life. You know, if you want to know something on thinkorswim, we will show you how to do it. All right, if there's a feature on here, I'm pretty comfortable with it. Now, cruising through here, one of the other cool things is that you can simulate anything. You can take the date of the trade and watch what's going to happen. Look at the little P&L line over here. I'm going to take the date. Today is coming into what? The 1st. Let's actually push the date forward to September 14th. Okay? So what's happening is it's actually showing you the P&L of the trade as if it were September 20th. And then you can actually click on P&L and it'll show you where you opened the price and the current simulated price. Why? Because it's really, really smart. Now, if that's not enough for you, you click the sprocket over here. You can change stock price. You can change volatility. What if vol went up? What if vol went down? You can even go to more parameters. Somebody was asking about Vega weighting. Yeah, well, you can actually change each expiration. If you have 6 expirations in there, you can actually change the volatility of each of the expirations so that you can do what's called volatility weighting. It's kind of cool. If that's not enough, you can come up here and actually change the entire trading application over to vol stepping to see what P&L will do, okay, and Vega risk. Somebody asked the question. I had to show. All right, it's crazy, the stuff in here. By the way, there's features that we built in here. This is for us. This wasn't for you. This was for like a bunch of option geeks that just got off the trading floor. We're like, what are we going to build? All right, some of the stuff that's built in this trading application is so back in the day, we would manage firm risk by using thinkorswim. Like literally, we would manage client risk by using our own trading application. So some of the design implications on here on the trading app, I mean, this is for us. Those are some of your primary features. Now, I just want to let you know, I could legitimately spend 3 hours just in the Analyze tab. There's beta weighting in here where you could look at a conglomerate of every position you've ever done and every simulated trade you've ever done. And you can run entire sims, meaning a simulation into the future. What if we went up? What if we went down? What if the market crashed? What if? What if volatility exploded? Name a scenario. You can even synthesize an expiration or assignment in this thing. Like, how the hell could you do that? It's under more parameters. Exercise price. It'll even tell you can exercise it. Lock it down. You can change the interest rates. Janet Yellen is going to screw us all. You know, bump the interest rate up. Look, it's changing the option prices. Crazy, right? When it's all said and done, hit reset, you're done. Next thing you want to worry about in here, this probability analysis, not nearly as cool as it used to be. Not even going to worry about it so much because I think that the probabilities over in the trade tab are more efficient. You know, use what's called probability in the money, probability out of the money, probability of touching. The more efficient, okay, to use in the trade tab. I don't like the one that's built in the Analyze tab, And I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I don't even want to like it. Think back. This is a feature. I love it. All you can do in Think Back, you just go back and like look. I don't know. At like June 8th, 2016. Like how far back you can go. I don't know. Keep clicking. You know, I'm gonna go back to 2015. Boom, there's the data. Ooh, Apple was 115. You keep going back in time. He goes back in time, but you can look at crazy, crazy stuff. Now you can create kind of simulated back trades, but that's garbage. Who cares? A back trade. Well, I want to take a trade, and I want to see if I did the trade a million times. You know, back testing is like curve fitting. I know some of you engineers, I have now officially, okay, hurt the engineers deeply, as I know they like to back test out there. But, you know, the back testing, it's not like worth its weight in gold. Like if you really want to test something, go into the risk profile and forward test it. Push the date forward, play around with all the parameters in there. That's how you test your positions. But Think Back is cool because you can go in and look at like the XLF. I was doing this earlier today when I did the video. The XLF, oh, this is, you know, let's go in here and let's actually reset this. Okay. So reset the date. Look at the XLF earlier this week. With 4 days remaining, the XLF had a 34-cent expected move. Right now, the expected move is 36 cents, which means time did not decay from the options. Time got added to the options. You never would have known that if you didn't have Think Back. It's cool, right? I like it. Fundamental data. Oh, yeah, it's fundamentals. What do you want me to tell you about fundamentals? There's this thing called fundamentals. They used to matter. Back in the day, look at this, Credit Suisse. Underperformed. Are you going to listen to Credit Suisse? Have you looked at their stock lately? If you look at their stock, I promise you, it's just, you know, you'll never listen to them again. They did a bad job. Let's go to the scanner. Okay, so we're going to be probably another 15, 20 minutes. Is that all right with everybody? Okay, now, by the way, yes, Think Back right around earnings dates. I love it. So, the scanner. The scanner is stock hacker, option hacker, spread hacker, spread book. Okay, let's go to stock hacker. What stock hacker can do? Well, what can it do? Just reset all the parameters. You can scan for roughly any variable. Now, without going into too much detail, because again, this is another one of these features that legitimately I could spend 3-4 days talking about the scanner. I am undoubtedly, when working with thinkorswim, and the group, by the way, the group that I worked in, I ran education for TD Ameritrade, but specifically worked inside of the Chicago thinkorswim group. And I only left that group for a very, very short time. For 18 months, I went on to run the institutional education program at TD Ameritrade to teach this to registered investment advisors. I was and have been one of the most outspoken advocates of scanning technology of probably anybody in the industry. I don't love looking at charts. I don't make that, you know, anywhere, any stretch of the imagination. Like, you know, whatever you are looking for in charts, I believe can be built into a scan. And I want you to know that, okay? So what do you want to look for? Let's clear all the fields out. What do you want to look for? I don't want to scan in all stocks. Who wants to scan in all stocks? I don't need no stinking stocks. I want to scan under weeklies. These are stocks that have weekly options, right? So if you go to the trade tab, you look at the XLF. Look, there's weeklies in here. It means it's predominantly more liquid. Back to the scanner. Now what do you want to scan for? Add a stock filter. I want to find something that's got some yield. What's yield? It's dividend. Let's find over a 4% div. In the weeklies, there they are. It's amazing, 47 of them. Now, maybe I don't really want that filter. I want to go in here and I want to add a study filter. Do I want to do like an ADX crossover? No. I like statistical stuff, price correlation. I like volatility stuff. This is stuff I added, right? IV percentile. I want to see if anybody's IV percentile is high right now. So this is looking for something that has high implied volatility, over 50% on up to like 84% hit scan. There's only 8 stocks. That's what I'm talking about. You see how fast you can do that? Then I want to add a study filter. I want to see like a crossover. What's a crossover? I don't know, like a moving average crossover. You know, you could do like the Death Star. Doo, doo, doo. It's the Death Star. Okay, it's not a Death Star, it's a Death Cross. Get it right, Don. Anyway, look, no matching symbols. Oh, that's how fast you can look for it. If you name a popular study on here, okay, price performance, okay, I'm going to show you a few of the scans that I've built over time. Let's load up a scan query. It's a personal one. One of my personal ones, the TheoTrade contrarian scan. I want to find 2% of the 252 period high. It's 2% of its 52-week high. The close is at least 3% greater than the last 10 days, bars or days, and does not have earnings in the next 35 days. It's also under weeklies. Hit scan. 7 stocks come up. These fit my criteria. These are statistically significant. They've burst to the upside. I've got a trade right here in Symantec. It's not going very well for me right now, but I got it right where I want it. And then you can go look at it on a chart. Okay, and you're going to see this thing is, you know, break away to the upside, right? So this is a contrarian scan. I got short over there. That's how easily you can build scans. And the complexity of scans, oh, it's sick how cool you can build it. Now, you could do the same thing in options. You want to scan for delta, for gamma, for intrinsic value, probability. Me, I'm much more like hyperactive than that. I build some pretty crazy option scans. So Don OI scan, Don put volume scan. What does that basically mean? I want to find a delta of negative, so that means I'm basically looking for a put option. Days to expiration, less than 70. Option volume today over 5,000 contracts, hit scan. There's 186 products that have it. So then I go in here and I go, oh, let's go over 10,000. Okay, so now I'm actually scanning for anything more than 10,000. Hit scan. There's 73 products that had over 10,000 contracts. Look at it, Bank of America. I noticed a lot of action today. I use these scans all the time, but I noticed a lot of actions in financials today. Emerging markets is right there with it. There's activity in anything financial related. Emerging markets has a huge arbitrage between it and financials, GLD, okay? So there's some heavy trade out there in B of A today. Anyway, that's how quickly you can ascertain anything you want. That's why I said there's like all these services that, you know, sell crap over here. Just learn to use the scanner the right way. You know, come on, I can build scans all day long over here. Spread Hacker. This is an older tool, helps you actually build spreads. Not going to get too into it. Spreadbook, this is a tool I love. What is Spreadbook? Type in like Apple. This is actually a TD Ameritrade client order book. It shows trades that have been entered but have not yet filled. You don't know who the client is. You don't know whether they're opening the trade or closing the trade. But it's kind of fun to go in here because you can kind of like scarf up other people's trades. Look at that little back ratio spread in there. That's cool. You could take the trade and go over here and just go create duplicate order. You may look at these trades and go, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Dupe the order. You may look at the trade and go, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Create opposite order. You don't like something? Take the other side, people. That's what's so cool about it. So the ISE spread book, this is going to be blank right now, but during the trading session, you're actually looking at the ISE's book. This is just other clients that have placed trades but have not yet filled. The moment it fills, it disappears from here. Okay, it's just a customer order book over there. It's great. And the big block trades on top of it, you can even see the big block trades. This is just a version of a scan in here. It's just scanning for big trades, all right, in Trade Flash. Close that up. Market Watch. Quotes. We got quotes. Well, there's nothing really cool to tell you about quotes. It's just got more columns than does the left side bar. More columns than the left side bar. Alerts. Forget about alerts. Why? You never have to come to the alerts tab. Watch this. Go back to the trade tab. If you want to place an alert on Apple, right click on the stock, create alert. And you can actually create your alert. And this is, again, critically important that you guys know that this exists on here. Everybody all right? So the alerts, Apple stock, when it marks at or below, hit create, and it will create an alert. But then you can go back over to your alerts, and you can see the active alert. Right? Everybody okay? Yeah? Active alerts over there. So I never go to the alert tab. Now I'm going to show you one other thing. Like 5 people probably know about this. If you go in here in Delta, you can create an alert on Delta. But how do you do it? Or you could create an alert on, something crazy like Gamma. Just have the information column say Delta, right click on it, create alert. It'll know that it's Delta. Yeah, it does. Come over here, right click on this, create an alert, it'll know. All right, it doesn't do one on Gamma. I'm sorry. Okay, and the alerts can send to your phone. How do you set that up? You go under Setup, Application Settings, okay, Notifications. Under Notifications, that's where you find it. So again, set up Application Settings, go right here under Notifications, and it'll set up. It can send it to your phone, it can email it to you. It's a party out there, right? So there is another feature in here I'd like to cover, Visualize. I don't use the heat map. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. I don't even want to like it. But if you click to Visualize, in Market Watch, Visualize, go to Heat Map, go to Index Watch. Under Index Watch, cruise down like the S&P 100. These are the stocks that matter every day, people. These are what drive order flow. So you want to look at the advanced decline line. People are like, U-vol, T-vol. They're looking at all like the vol spreads in there. Yuck. ADVOL, which is advanced decline volume. I like to look at the physical advanced decline line, like what stocks are up and down. And in an instant, no matter where you drag your mouse, I'm like a crazed animal over here, you can see the advanced decline line. Kind of cool. Great. Calendar. It's a calendar. Dun, da, da, da. It's a calendar. But when you go in here for the first time, it's got all this garbage on it. Get rid of all that garbage. Where it says Show All, click it. Just go over there, Econo Day event. That's the crap that matters. That's going to move markets. Period. Just check on Econo Day event. Sure, if you want to see ETFs, okay, put that on there. When you start putting earnings, though, yucky, yucky. It's crazy. You can also limit what you're seeing to specific watch lists. It's pretty smart. You can go in there and you can actually drop your watch list in here. But if you want to see the employment, we got a situation. There's an employment situation coming out on Friday. Gives you the exact time. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm on Pacific time. 6:30 at night. We're supposed to be done. We're not done yet. We're close to done. Let's go to charts. The final frontier, charts. Thinkorswim charts are really spectacular in that, for the most part, anything can be built or created in here. Anything can be changed. Anything. I mean, when I say that, every color on here can be changed, manipulated, tweaked, rolled over. You can do anything you want in the charts. And I can't stress enough that the charts themselves, again, what you can do in them it's boundless, So how do you set up the charts? Well, first of all, there's only a few buttons that you truly need to worry about in the charts. I love it. Somebody came in there. Information overload. That's why this is going to be recorded. All right. And by the way, I'm really I'm just shaving the tip of the iceberg over here. There's a lot of crap built into this platform. All right. I mean, I can show you something like, how many, there's legitimately maybe 10 people that know this. If you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, did you know you could actually click down on the scroll wheel? If I do that, I can actually immediately go and put in fib retracements with just a click of a mouse. On the scroll wheel I'm clicking. You're like, that is insane. Again, there's features built in here that unless you worked there for a couple of years, you probably would never have found. And even if you had worked there for a couple of years, nobody that, ever worked there even told you about it. Remove all drawings, sorry about that. So let me show you the best way to navigate charts. Ready for it? Okay. If you have a completely and utterly blank chart, cool. Style Drawing Studies. Style Drawing Studies. Style Drawing Studies. Style Drawing Studies. That's it. From these three, okay, you can do anything you want. When it comes to style, you're like, what is style? Intraday, 1 day, 1 minute. 9 day, I use a 9 day, 9 month. 9 month daily. You can come over here, standard price mode, candle charts, last. Okay, I can print the chart, but you can also save styles once you set up your perfect style. Now, If there's not enough features in here, go where it says settings. See it says settings? Click on it. Settings puts you into chart settings. This is where there is a whole lot of crap. I mean, you can go in here and go crazy. You're like, I don't like the appearance of the charts, sir. Okay, calm down. You don't like the appearance. Change the color, right? Hit apply, hit OK. And you can actually change, like, that's it. I just changed my chart forever and ever. I don't like it. Go back over here. Again, style, settings. I don't want to see volume. Good, this is an equity, right? Go to equity, show volume subgraph. Hit apply, hit OK. Look, volume's gone. I want it back. All right, it's back. Go back here to settings. Now, that's easy enough. And you can go through, like, I mean, listen, I could show you what every single setting does. What's the point? You just go through and play around with a couple of them. All right, show prices, percentage, yada, 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 time and access. You just kind of read through them. You'll figure them all out. They're very self-explanatory. Appearance, though, is a cool one because if you're colorblind, red and greens don't do it for you, right? I mean, that's important. It really, really is important. If you don't like the volume color, let's look. Huh? Now you got volume. Hypercolor. So you can even like right-click on these little monkeys over here and, you know, change studies and drawing tools from there. Now, that's style. Drawing tools. How easy is drawing tools? There's a trend line. I need a trend line. Well, the stock was here, but it should be here. That's how you draw a trend line, right? By the way, every trend line I would draw right now would be bearish. Why? Because I'm bearish. So, yeah, there's a trend line from here, and then we bring it down here. But from drawing tools, you go cycle brackets and pitchforks and spirals. Okay, listen, if this helps you figure out direction of the market, more power to you. It doesn't really do it for me. Let's remove all drawings. Yes, that's drawings. Studies. This drop-down menu accesses all the studies. Now you can go alphabetized. Now, you see this menu. To me, this is the most hideous beast ever. It's the most hideous beast ever because you're like dragging the mouse and you're like, oh, son of a, because I need me one of them McClellan oscillators on there. Give me an oscillator. Give me one now. I need an oscillator stat. I hate these drop-down menus. So really the way to navigate the platform the most effectively, if you want to do something on thinkorswim charts, watch. Sprocket or beaker. Sprocket, beaker, sprocket, beaker, sprocket, beaker. Why? The sprocket, it's a shortcut to chart settings. It's the same thing as coming over here, going down to settings. Hit the sprocket. It takes you right to chart settings. But if you hit the beaker, this is the mother of all places to check out studies. This is every study on the thinkorswim trading application listed in a linear format. You can even click this down arrow and go, I want to see just trend studies. There they are. Okay. Now somebody mentioned earlier they wanted to see Bollinger Bands. B-O-L. All right. What do you want? Bollinger Band crossover? Regular Bollinger Bands. Done. Hit apply. Hit OK. You got yourself Bollinger Bands. You're like, but I don't like those Bollinger Bands. They're the wrong size. Okay. So click the little beaker. Come over here once you've actually got it. All right. So let's do that again. Let's get rid of it. Hit apply. Hit OK. There's no Bollinger Bands. There's no Bollinger Bands, nothing behind the back, nothing of any kind. This is a 9-month chart with candles. Click on the beaker, type in B-O-L, Bollinger Bands. Double click on Bollinger Bands, it'll add it. Then there's a little sprocket over here to the right. If you click on that, it'll allow you to adjust anything on the Bollinger Bands. Change the colors, the upper band, the lower band. Everything can be manipulated, changed around, right? You don't like the average type? I need a whole average, just a different average. You can even click on this and it'll tell you about the Bollinger Band itself. Every one of these studies, okay, you can even come in there and mess around with the code a little bit. Hit apply, hit OK, you got yourself Bollinger Bands. It's that easy, right? Now, what else can you do on here? Well, upper studies, lower studies. There's over 400 different studies, again, on the trading application. But you also have, you scroll to the bottom, what we call user-defined. These are all different types of user-defined studies that I have. There's a ton of them. Like I have script upon script upon script. I am a huge believer. No one has a sacred cow. When I mean no one has a sacred cow, last night we gave away this TheoTrade, okay, RSI. What that basically is a really tweaked, very effective version of an RSI, which is relative strength, created by Wells Wilder quite a number of years ago. This is actually one with a different nonlinear time function built into it. We share it. No sacred cow here. If you're paying for studies, we need to smack you around, because all you got to do, okay, is go right here to share, create a link for the sharing, copy it, okay, and now you can have my link. There it is. Okay, I don't care. Everything is open source code in here, and that's the way it should be. And I feel strongly about this. This share feature was created by a really close friend of mine, a gentleman by the name of John Hart. He runs thinkorswim development now. And John said, you know, we should just make everything free, because people are building businesses selling indicators. If it's a good indicator, they'll add it to the trading application. If it passes the sniff test, they'll add it to the trading application. Let them add stuff to the trading application. And in the meantime, if you need a study, let us know, because we give them to you. Why? Because we can, right? We don't, you know, what does it cost? A couple bucks for somebody to script an indicator over there? Fantastic. All right, we're a good-sized company. Done. We'll hand you the indicators over there. And hey, it benefits us. How does it benefit us? Number one, you're using our indicator. Number two, okay, you're probably opening up a thinkorswim or TD Ameritrade account, and we have a relationship with TD Ameritrade. It finances part of TheoTrade opening accounts. So, by the way, if you're going to open an account at TD Ameritrade, please use our link. There's plenty of people on here. We're well over 1,000 people on here tonight. Use our link to be able to open up that account. Now, charts in a nutshell. The next thing you need to know, grids. You can actually open up a multitude of charts. And when you open up those charts, okay, you can go in here, you can share an entire grid. So you can build complex grid systems in there. You can load up entire watch lists into the grid systems. Okay, there's, again, you can save grid systems. There's huge functionality. Load symbols into cells right next to the grid after I've opened the grid. Right next to it, okay, load symbols into cells. You can load entire public lists in here. Right? You can load your own personal lists in here. Now, granted, you know, would you want to load the entire Dow Jones Industrial Average? It's probably only going to get the first few stocks, okay? But you get the idea. 3M and United, oh, it's very exciting. You can have a grid. But here's something, you're like, I can't even see the grid. I know it. Look, it's kind of hard to see those stocks, right? Come in here, load the cells, right? Come right down here to Dow Jones Industrial. So it's hard to see these. Of course it's hard to see. It's not designed for that. Look right up here where the grid is. Ready? Right click on any one of these cells. Right click, go to maximize grid cell. Then you have a toggle button. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. I'm toggling through the grid, and then I go boom, right back to the full grid. Right? Right click, maximize grid cell, toggle through my grid, and I can even apply a multitude of studies. Right? I can put every single chart to this new RSI thing. I can do it. Every single chart could be an RSI chart. No, I don't want the RSI chart. I want everything to have IV ranking. Good, done. I can toggle through that. It's all one-click functionality. Crazy what you can actually do on here. I'm just, again, touching the edge of what you can do with charts. Last but not least, some quick functionality over here. If you want to go percentage charts, click right up here. Cruise down to show prices percentage. Big believer of percentage charts. And of course, there's a tool, and I talked about this last night. This is My Tools. This is a toolbar that you can create. The toolbar is actually created by going to your chart settings, going to My Tools on each chart. Okay? On each chart, hit apply, hit OK, and you'll be all set, and this toolbar will start to appear. Now, the toolbar that's right here is going to be hidden. You're not going to see it. You're going to have to drag your mouse up there for it to appear for the first time. And then when you do find it, pin it down, okay? Because it's going to disappear on you. Like you go from the trade tab back to charts, you're like, it's not there. Got to pin it down. And you can actually set up your favorite styles, your favorite studies, your favorite settings, and immediately apply that to the entire grid instantaneously. Last, but definitely not least, there are flexible grids. They just look different. Every feature is the exact same as charts, okay? There are a number of tools in here, including every item that I've ever shared. So this is the last 7 days, but here, let's see everything I've shared over the last month. This is where I say, If there's a script over there, we share it. We're all about, sharing, caring. There is no sacred cow. If somebody says they've got a proprietary study, oh, by all means, please do share it. I enjoy that kind of stuff. Listen, I'm doing this a long time, right? Why am I going here doing a thinkorswim demo when we're TheoTrade? It's the right thing to do. People are asking, like, how do I use, thinkorswim? Well, this is taking you to a little bit of overview of thinkorswim. Last but not least, of course, the help tab where you can contact them. By the way, our contact information is support at TheoTrade.com. Last but definitely not least, I want everybody to know we're going to be doing another class next Wednesday. Now, we are going to put the link directly into the chat room so that everybody here tonight can actually sign up, okay, for next week. Let's make sure. All right, so on this particular link, we're actually going to be talking about, well, it's called the next big short. And we're going to do a little bit of a class for the general public again next week. So we're coming out right now, firing over here, doing again a number of free classes. So I'm going to answer some questions over here, but I want to make sure that we get this link in here. Let me make sure that we've actually got it in there, and I am trying to pull it up feverishly right now. Give me just a second. Got it. All right. So the link will be right over here. I'm going to be copying this. You've got it. It's TheoTrade.com/short. Okay. That particular link, again, we're going to talk about it here momentarily. But I actually, like everybody, if they could, by all means, please attend. It's just put your first name, your email address in here. The class is volatility. Ultimately, the class is going to be next week. Again, it's about volatilities at or near record lows, okay? And it's in contrast to, like, literally everything that you see out there. It's in direct contrast to what we know. If you look at the SPX and you even go out to the election, it's not making sense how low implied volatility is in the markets. We're going to talk about why the markets are currently blind to the risks. And that volatility is actually being suppressed right now by the market. We're also going to look at how exposed everybody really is. Talk about reduction of risk. Last but not least, we're actually going to look at a couple of the strategies. And there's a strategy we're going to be talking about, which is kind of a play on what the Fed did. It's the Fed a couple of years ago did something called a twist, right? The twist was actually twisting the interest rates from short duration to long duration. Well, we're actually going to be doing a strategy called a risk twist, which is ultimately going to take advantage and twist the fact that risk is rather low right now to our advantage. So something I'm going to be covering next week. Again, it's TheoTrade.com/short. It's a free class. Again, we're doing it next week over here, so stay tuned. Does it even say the exact time on here? So we just put this thing together over there. Making sure we're good. But the time will be 7 p.m. next Wednesday. Again, 7 p.m. next Wednesday. Enroll for it over here. We'll send you all the information upon enrolling for it. We'll also email you guys to, again, it's available for all of the TheoTrade members and or non-members as well. So with that, a couple of questions I'm going to answer here in TheoTrade. By the way, my email address is support@theotrade.com. So what we do at TheoTrade is we put everybody to the general support box. Don't feel that I won't see it. I answer every single email. On a day-to-day basis, I try to answer, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 emails a day minimum. Okay, in a busy day, it's crazy out there. I mean, if you got questions, that's what we're here for. All right. So, by the way, yeah. So I've got a couple of long volatility trades out there, and I'll continue to do that. So I'm reading back through here. Not a huge amount of information requested on there. So the software. So if you think that thinkorswim is intimidating, I'd actually tend to agree with you. The first time you get in there, it's crazy. I mean, it is. It's absolutely crazy, and I don't mind saying it's intimidating. And I've said that since I worked there early on. Think about this, grow into it. Every single person that has ever told me that thinkorswim is intimidating, I agree with, number one. And number two, you know what I usually say? A year from now, you'll be the person that's be like, oh man, you know, can you add some more features to this thing? So I mean, literally, people will ask for more features. Somebody that like didn't know anything about the trading application is all of a sudden asking a year later for more features on there. So truly don't let it intimidate you. And again, now, you know, I am TheoTrade. Well, what's the difference? The regulations in the overall industry, they got to me over a lot of years. You know, having to answer to FINRA and a bunch of regulators and compliance officers, it gets to you. So I diverged, parted ways on a really good note with TD Ameritrade. I still talk to most of my friends over there on a day-to-day basis. Not to mention, I talk to a lot of the other brokerage firms out there. I've got friends throughout the the industry, a few friends in the professional trading world still. We all keep in very, very close contact. But what we can do, being outside of the regulated world, is really teach a tremendous amount beyond what we were capable of doing in the regulated world. And I think that the demos that they put together for thinkorswim are phenomenal. Nevertheless, okay, we can do more. We actually, on a day-to-day basis, we get in our chat room, we say like, look, do this trade. And that's where other firms, they can't do that from the inside the brokerage walls over there. So somebody said, how do I organize scans, watch lists, chart studies? How do I organize, all of this? So in terms of organization, okay, you build a bunch of them and it just alphabetizes it. That's it. That's the only way. And then you have to delete them kind of one by one. I'd like to say that it was organized, but it's a little bit of organized chaos in there, right? So somebody said, please explain expiration +3 in the risk profile. Yeah, no problem. It's a hideous beast. Basically, what it means is this, okay? You're running positions in a multitude of different expiration cycles, and this has the capability of looking 3 expiration cycles out. Frankly, I have never in my life used that feature, because when you're trading in a multitude of expiration cycles, like if I traded in Goldman Sachs and I bought these, okay, and I traded these and I traded these, risk profiling becomes less transparent, right? So I come in here and I go like expiration +3. It'll actually show me what this thing looks like. It'll break it into 3 separate expirations because I've got 3 different options. But that doesn't necessarily do me justice. I like it to morph the risk, to show me as one single line. I hope that makes sense, okay? So do you know any of the indicators that use support and resistance? Yeah, there's a ton of indicators that use support and resistance. So I'm a little bit more of a quantitative trader. I'm more of a numbers geek than I am a charts kind of guy. That's why I so strongly believe in scanning. Okay, think about this for a second. I'll kind of leave you with this. When you go in here and you scan, it basically does everything the chart does, but it does it in 0.2 of a second. Scans replace charts. That's why I like them. So I don't mind if somebody looks at a chart, but your best use of time is to scan for whatever you're looking for. You want a MACD? Scan for it. I look at MACD and I want me like a Fibonacci with a little bit of Bollinger Band on the side. You can scan for it. And that's what I like to tell people, okay? So again, I urge you guys, by all means, check out the TheoTrade site. I'm going to show you a few things on the TheoTrade site that you can do over here. First of all, most of you, if you're enrolled tonight, you've already gotten our daily. I mean, we give away more on a day-to-day basis than almost any other firm could even charge for. Like our video, our nightly newsletter, we give those things away. We want to give them away. We want you guys in tune in the markets trading, okay? We do offer different classes and stuff. We offer Total Theo over here. But listen, tonight is no pitch, no catch, no cost. I want it to be that way, right? But I also want you to know there's a bunch of free resources in here. And in the free resources, we've even got like Cliff Notes in here. Check out some of the free resources, the ebooks, okay? TheoTrade tutorials. You want to see the TheoTrade tutorials? Guess what? They're actually thinkorswim tutorials. They're built right in here. Again, this is just theotrade.com. Go to the site now. Go in there into TheoTrade tutorials because it shows you all the favorite features that I have on this trading application. I break them down for you. Okay. So next week, everybody, I would love for you guys to join me. Okay. Next week, it's pretty much Wednesday, same bat time. It's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. We will email you out to there. It's theotrade.com/short. And we're really, I missed a forward slash in there, but we are really going to dig deeply next week into not only some of the risks, more appropriately, the opportunities. Okay, so there we go. September 7th. We've got the time on there now. Wow, developers are kind of quick. With that, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I've got to go put a couple of kids down to bed. It's almost 7 o'clock. It's almost bedtime over here at the Don residence. So out of the studio, right down to the kids. Thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Again, join us next week, same time over here, September 7th. And we'll be there. Again, it's theotrade.com/short. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye-bye.